Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, YouTube. This video is being made today to speak the truth about what really occurred on 9/11 and that the fact that corruption is all through a government, that 9/11 was an inside job. For all those conspiracists out there who think that 9/11 was an inside job, yes it was. Again, I had top secret clearance, and all these facts that have been said. Some of them are false. Some of them are a little out there, but some of the ones that I have found are very factual and very truthful. So let's basically get started on this video. Let's start off by calling out Mr. Dick Cheney, George Bush, and Mr. Larry Silverstein, who was basically running a war for profit, basically war profiteering, and has made billions and billions of dollars off this. Mr. Dick Cheney made over $138 billion from his Halliburton building. This was from the war in Iraq, and this war has basically been for money, as you can tell, $138 billion. Larry Silverstein. Now, Larry Silverstein was caught on tape basically saying that he bought the WTC-7 building, and he made over $200 in renovations and upgrades of the building, and it basically made him ownership of the building. Now, he had a contract on that building that basically said that he would get money if there were any damages, destruction to the building, and it was oddly enough, after 9/11, it was before 9/11. It was actually was protected from, oddly enough, terrorist attacks. So that's kind of suspicious right there. That his building is, oddly enough, before 9/11, months before 9/11. It's new owner of the building, and so he now has it, and just in case a terrorist attack happens, he's protected from it. So this basically is him and all his people who work for him. Larry Silverstein was already a well-known criminal. He ran a criminal organization, and he basically committed money fraud, insurance fraud in doing so. There was an interview with a woman named Captain Karen Jashore, who basically said is an EMS, an emergency service ambulance person, and she basically stated that the building had what was like flashes, basically saying that there was demolition. Now, Larry Silverstein admitted on film that building was destroyed in a demolition, if you're listening closely. I'm going to post the links at the bottom, don't worry, for those who don't know what I'm speaking about. And so Karen DeShore said that when the explosion went off, she got blown back. She would have been blown out of the building, but there was a piece of cement slab protecting her, and no building goes straight down unless it is under a demolition charge. These charges, oddly enough, Dick Cheney, when they were asked questions, Dick Cheney insisted that they be asked together, oddly enough, and they were never found guilty of any crime The Building 6 went down, and it was Building 7 went down first, and that was the building owned by Larry Silverstein, and his organization. Now the second building, Building 6, went down, and the building was completely carved out in the middle. Now I've heard things of people saying, oh, that it was chemicals that destroyed the inside of a building. No, that's not possible. No building structure would be completely carved out on the inside. The only thing that could possibly do that is a laser, and I don't think a laser hit the building inside of the building and carved out the whole inside of a building while the structure stood straight up. This basically is a conflict right there. Building 6 is standing completely up while it's completely carved out in the middle. Then we got Obama, Barack Hussein Obama is his middle name, Hussein, who basically states he's a Muslim. Nothing wrong with Muslims, but he states he's a Muslim, that he is funding a group called ISIS. So he's involved in terrorist activities. The FBI has him under what is considered a domestic terrorism. They classified him as a domestic terrorist. Now, yet they have yet to arrest Obama, even though he's classified as a domestic terrorist. Now, if you or I was classified as a domestic terrorist, we would be automatically arrested, incarcerated, and put in jail. Yet, because he has official power, he is immune from any acts of criminal intent because he's the President of the United States. And whenever Obama gets arrested or in trouble, he always pulls the "I'm black" card. "I'm African American. Why are you doing this to me?" Just like certain politicians who are females pull "I'm a woman" card. "Why are you doing this to me?" We gotta stop making excuses for these politicians. So let's get back on track. Sorry, I got a little bit off track there. So we have Obama, who said in 2011 they captured and killed Saddam Hussein. Now, I have reports that state, again, I'll put them at the bottom of the link, that Saddam Hussein died in 2001 in December of kidney failures and complications in December of 2001. Now, this was Vox News, Chicago, international news stations that all have said this. There was also a trial with a man who was allegedly Saddam Hussein impersonator, voiceover, who stated that it was all media propaganda, that 9/11 was an inside job, but this was stated by a person who was working basically for the federal government of the United States. Again, I'll post a link at the bottom of the page when this video concludes. So now we have Saddam Hussein, who first off is a Central Intelligence Agency asset. He worked for the Central Intelligence Agency back in the 1970s to just up before he died. He was tried in Iraq at the time and was being tried and then was hung. So how could Saddam Hussein do it if he was being tried and hung at the time? There was a video. So you got these two people who are basically, one's dead, died in 2000. Osama bin Laden died in 2001 of kidney complications, and Saddam Hussein was tried and hung at the time of the 9/11 attack. So it concludes basically that who could have had interest in this? Well, let's continue. There was a weapon shipping company called Carlite Group, who CRTLY, I think it's pronounced, spelled. And basically, this group was selling guns and weapons to people in foreign countries, and this group had an interest in war at the time, was working with George Bush to send weapons. Now, this is interesting. The head of the Central Intelligence Agency was getting reports from a spy who was turned by our own government, who was giving them basically wrong or bad information, saying that Saddam Hussein was having weapons of mass destruction. He had nuclear capability, which was not true or factual. Other agencies were telling him that that's not true. He has some old weapons back from the 1980s, but he does not have that type of capability. But due to the fact that we've already declared war on a country, we were already in too deep. We had to continue, which ended up with the 9/11 attack. So basically, there you have it. It's basically our politicians lying, not telling the truth, concealing it, committing acts of war, acts of terrorism against their own country.